because Big Boom don't deny it. But for Big Boom and his people to reach out to me on Instagram and say we
Since Enormous Blast don't deny it yet for Huge Blast, and is kin to contact me on Instagram, and say we love what you doing, I think what befell me and Margie was we got together at a point in our life where we had both fizzled at this pitiably. And it simply wasn't decently, was it a choice, regardless of their lock-in dears. Since we're plunging profound into the showstorm that has got the world as eager and anxious as ever, William Large Blast Freeman is ripping the veil off the Harvey realm, uncovering stunning insights that are leaving jaws on the floor, and the Harvey standing destroyed. Could this be the ruin of the Harvey administration? Definitely. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Secret Life channel. Well honey, pop that effervescent and get settled in light of the fact that Marjorie Harvey has wound up in the storm's eye of what could be the most shameful superstar standoff of the 10 years additional gossip plants, resolving additional time. And it's spitting an endless flow of sensations word on the road, is that Marjorie has been snared in a sizzling mystery sentiment with, in all honesty, William Large Blast Freeman for quite a long time. And here's the steamiest scoop: Huge Blast isn't barely out for retribution. He's on a path of destruction to wreck the Harvey brand piece. Peace now. You understand what Steve for my security. I will say supposedly, yet on the off chance that this man don't say purportedly. And he comes clean, you can't lash out at me, Stephen, on the off chance that you've been hiding in a cave somewhere and don't know William Freeman's importance in the Harvey group. Here's a boost: this man's been at the core of Steve Harvey's universe for north of 20 years, taking on jobs you might have a hard time believing. In addition to the fact that he was the safeguard and sword for Steve monitoring him from the world. Yet he additionally blended enchantment in the kitchen, serving as the special kind of mysteries culinary maestro. And when you felt that was all, the situation started to get interesting. The tattled divine beings gave to us a jaw-breaking telephone interview where Freeman made disclosures so momentous that they sent quakes through Hollywood's tip-top. Stephen, you saying Steve Harvey knew the insider tea. He's been in an underground sentiment with Marjorie for an astounding 20 years and hang tight for it. Steve Harvey, Mr. Family Quarrel himself, was in the know from the beginning. Yes, well, you are Lori Harvey's dad, wow. And in the event that that wasn't shocking sufficient, support yourself for the good to beat all. With tears in his eyes, Freeman dropped the case that Lori Harvey, the rising star of style, and the new sovereign of Instagram, is his natural girl. Can you even supposedly enormous blast? Is Lori Harvey's dad, wow. No doubt somebody high, except for Huge Blast wasn't finished mixing the pod. He hung the enticing possibility of a live meeting, indicating more hazardous mysteries that would shake the Harvey domain to its very center. The profundity of these secret insights, he's left us salivating in anticipation. Yet the digital grape plant is abuzz, and the expectation is through the rooftop as this adventure unfurls. Brands recently lined up with the Harveys are currently faltering underwriting bargains, are in a dangerous situation, and television contracts are under a magnifying glass. Everybody's talking. And the fate of the Harvey brand appears to be dubious, best case scenario. Yet in the midst of this whirlwind, Marjorie Harvey isn't accepting it without a fight, showing her particular pizzazz. She applauded back wildly, tending to her multitude of virtual entertainment devotees. She exposed each exciting case, stirring up the fires for a dramatization that guarantees a lot more exciting bends in the road. My significant other, and I don't as a rule stop to address all the rubbish and creations spread about us, she determinedly expressed anyway, to whom much is given, much is required. I comprehend that with my foundation comes some kind of obligation to those that may not be areas of strength for. However, we may be nevertheless enormous blast. Obviously didn't expect such way of behaving from his darling, once profoundly dug in the hug of adoration and shared dreams. Freeman wound up on the edges of Marjorie's glinting world, watching in dismay. In light of the fact that Marjorie Harvey and Steve Harvey are denying it in huge blast, supposedly said he's still enamored with her Marjorie Harvey, who once murmured guarantees under the covering of stars appeared to float easily towards the charm of Steve Harvey's realm. Every last bit of her reality presently reflected the shine and marvelousness of a brand. That Steve had fastidiously fabricated the disaster was clear. The torment, discernible Lori Harvey, promoted as the rising guide of the design world, added one more layer of interest to this unfurling show, while the world knew her as the shimmering jewel of the Harvey family. Freeman's disclosures alluded to a more profound story, I think just continuously putting me first. And you realize I have such countless organizations that I'm like, and keeping in mind that her actual genealogy could have attached her to Freeman. Her activities shouted dedication to the Harvey brand. Lori's decision was clear. The excitement, fabulousness, and richness that accompanied the Harvey name offset any security she could have imparted to Freeman. Check me and resemble hello, like what you doing, great, you shake out of it. And perhaps be like Coke. No doubt you're correct, I'm stumbling. I'm great in any case. Easting of double-crossing cut, considerably more profound, as Lori, mindful of her foundations, embraced the Harvey inheritance with great affection, every one of the fantasies and goals Freeman had for her. Every one of the expectations of a certifiable familial security appeared to disintegrate in the brilliant gleam of the Harvey brand. It wasn't just about the distinction in fortune. It was a reasonable announcement. Marjorie and Lori had picked the brand over enormous blast. Behind the scenes, murmurs became thunders, with insiders portraying Freeman's mounting outrage. 20 years of dependability, privileged insights, shared insecurities, framed with the Harveys, currently wavered near the precarious edge of a seismic aftermath. The close-to-home fountain of liquid magma was prepared, and the emission guaranteed disclosures that could shake the actual mainstays of the Harvey domain. Marjorie's public disavowal of any relationship past the expert just fanned Freeman's rage. And as the world watches with goaded breath, the one who once remained as Steve Harvey's most considerable partner changes into his most critical danger. Yet what might William and Freeman at some point conceivably uncover in his new meeting? And how should he represent a danger to Steve Harvey's family, as Steve Harvey's guardian for north of 20 years? Huge blast has been conscious of the family's most private minutes, whether it's a quiet conflict among Steve and Marjorie or confidential festivals. Freeman's position offered an unmatched view. A new statement from an industry insider featured this large blast realizes the family's heartbeat. He's seen them at their best and most exceedingly terrible. The Harveys are no aliens to rewarding arrangements and high-stake undertakings. Huge blast vicinity to the family implies he's probably heard conversations on venture supports and likely monetary misfortunes in a 2017 meeting. Steve referenced, in this industry, you're just essentially as great as your last arrangement. Could huge blast give experiences into bargains? Turned out badly. Likewise, reports have frequently circled about the idea of Steve and Marjorie's relationship. While they've reliably introduced a unified front, enormous blast could have experiences into any pressures or conflicts. Marjorie Wood said each family has its promising and less promising times, indicating conceivable unseen struggles. And one should not fail to remember Lori Harvey, who as of late turned into the authority representative for the Harvey family, showing up on different shows and occasions. It appears to be that, as per Marjorie and Steve's arrangement, she will assume control over the rules of the Harvey brand. From them, Lori's power in the style world has been fleeting, yet many fans and pundits have one inquiry: did Lori accomplish everything all alone? Or did her renowned stepfather, with his associations in the business, assume a part in her prosperity? Huge blast could reveal insight into challenges Lori confronted, and the job her folks played in her vocation direction. The media has hummed with tales about the Harveys Whether it's about Marjorie's past connections or hypothesis in regards to Steve's profession moves enormous blast could either approve these accounts or expose them, including the most lustful bits of hearsay about Steve's sexual direction, unfaithfulness, family embarrassments, and clashes with other celeb freedoms. Recollect Steve's quarrel Wendy Williams. And we should not fail to remember that Hollywood is a filthy business. It obscured enormous blast. Might have learned and seen, while working for Steve, what arrangements or obscure arrangements were affected. Overall, this individual might have sufficient compromising material for a whole book. And he might actually discolor the Harvey family's standing in only 1 hour of interview. No, they wouldn't hush up, they believe. You should hush up the most unstable of everything. Is the supposed double dealing of Freeman by Marjorie reports. Recommend she utilized his reliability for individual acquires Marjorie's assertion to whom much is given, much is required takes on a more profound significance in this setting. Freeman's cozy information, joined with sensations of selling out, positions him as an expected danger to the Harvey brand dignitary to the sum up the embroidery of the Harvey family.